Hello everyone. My voice is gonna sound horrible. I apologize in advance. Excuse me. I'm getting over a cold, but I wanted to take the time to share my diabetic story because I think it's very important. May bring awareness to someone that has the same symptoms, and they may think that it's not serious symptoms and it's just, things that are going to pass on their own, and you'll get better on your own. So I want to share my story and also my relapse story because I was diagnosed with diabetes. I was able to get it under control, get off all my medication, and I was what was considered as diet controlled. But almost 2 years later, after getting off the medicine and everything, I had a relapse. I was back with all the symptoms and had to go back to the medicine because I started going back to my old ways, and diabetes showed me it wasn't a game. Got to stay on track with my diet and such. But let me go ahead and get started. So back in 2015, I just had fatigue really bad. So I was really fatigued. I was so exhausted that I felt like I was just the walking dead, just a zombie. I felt dead in the inside. I was so exhausted, so tired. I would drive to work and I would sit in the car and I would have to just pray like, Lord, please give me strength to step one foot out the car and then the other foot out the car. Like it was every step and everything. Every hallway looked so long. It could be a short hall, but in my it seems to where it was like it was a long hall because it was like one step was felt like 50 steps. I was that exhausted. I was very dehydrated. I would drink fluids all day long over and over and over. And then I had to go to the restroom over and over and over. And I just said, well, maybe because it's the summertime. That's why I'm dehydrated. The fatigue. Let me go back. On the fatigue, I thought, well, maybe I'm not sleeping enough. So I went home and I would go to sleep. And I would go early, get back up. It felt like I hadn't been asleep at all. When I would drink the fluids, I was so dehydrated, it felt like I hadn't drunk nothing. Drinking gallons of water, and it felt like I hadn't drunk nothing. I was still thirsty. Nothing would quench my thirst. Blurry vision came out of nowhere. All these symptoms hit me in the same week. Different symptoms I started noticing in the same week. The blurry vision, it was so bad, I made a doctor's appointment. I made a appointment to go get my eyes checked. And while I was there, the lady said, well, hey, did you know you have a busted blood vessel in your eye? And she got me 2 mirrors so that I could see it. It was kind of over in this corner. But when I looked, it was a huge red, looked like a huge red dot. And I was like, no, I know that hadn't been there. And so all these things was coming together. I'm like, hold on. Extremely thirsty, fatigued, blurry vision. I'm like, hold on. Let me Google this. So I started Googling my symptoms. So I was Googling my symptoms, and it came up saying that you may have diabetes. Things like that was coming up. I'm thinking, nah, I normally trust Google, but this don't sound right. I know I'm not diabetic. No way. Like, what is that anyway? I didn't even know much about it in detail, but so from there, I told my husband what was going on. He ended up saying, you know what? These symptoms haven't went away and it's been a few days. You need to go to the ER. So I was telling him, I was like, well, they're going to run me out of the ER. They're probably going to laugh at me because they're going to say, well, why do you think these symptoms are serious? You think you being thirsty and dehydrated and stuff like that? I was thinking they were going to say, that's not an emergency. You're wasting our time in the ER. ER is for real, true emergencies. you been thirsty and urinating a lot because you drinking too much and then not getting enough sleep. That's not an emergency. That's what I was thinking in my head, using my own logic on the whole situation. So anyways, he told me to come pick him up from work. Come get him. He's like, come get me, and we're gonna go to the hospital. So at that time we only had one car. So I went and got him. But on my way there, I just was driving to get to him, and I just vomited out of nowhere, just while driving, out of nowhere. Didn't even know it was about to come up, none of that. By the time I got to him, I felt so bad. He was like, it looks like you can see death like all over your face. Something is seriously wrong. Let's go. So we got to the ER. At the ER, they're saying, hey, while you're waiting to be seen, don't drink anything, don't eat anything. I'm sitting there drinking a Coca-Cola, regular Coca-Cola. That's even more sugar. Didn't know what was wrong, though. So finally get to the back. Doctor come in, they running all these tests. The nurses coming in, and I'm like, hey, I was told when I Googled my symptoms that I may be diabetic. I was talking to the nurse. The nurse was saying, the doctor's going to be in soon. The doctor's going to be in soon. The doctor's going to talk to you soon. I was like, they wouldn't give me an answer. So I was thinking, that's kind of suspicious. So I said, well, okay. So then I tried to pry it out again. I say, do you think the internet was right? The internet keeps saying something about diabetes. I don't know why I have these weird symptoms. What's going on with me? Doctor will be in soon. Doctor came in. He said, did you know that you're a diabetic? And I said, no. And I looked at my husband. He said, the doctor said, your blood sugar is 655. We're going to admit you, and we're going to get an IV started of insulin. You're going to have to be on the insulin drip. And we're going to have to keep you here for a few days so we can see if we can get your sugar down and get you together. So I was saying, so you mean to tell me I can't leave here because I'm supposed to be at work tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And I'm a bit of a workaholic. So I was like, and he said, you're probably going to be a few days. So then by then it was like midnight. Because, I had to been waiting in the ER for so long. By then it was midnight. I'm texting all the other people in my job saying, hey, excuse me. I'm saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to come in tomorrow. I'm supposed to be the only supervisor there because it was, excuse me, because it was a weekend. And texting everybody I know. One manager responded, was like, hey, I'll go in for a few hours until somebody else can come in and relieve me. So they end up getting that shift worked out, but it was chaotic because by the time everyone saw my text, since I was texting late, it was like midnight going into 1 in the morning. By the time they saw my text, the employees were already at work. It was like 7 and 8. They were showing up already. By the time the managers woke up and saw that I had been texting them all night, and so they were there for a while by themselves, which is a liability to the company. The employees ain't supposed to be there without a manager being present. But anyways, that's how chaotic it was, okay? So they did shifts. Somebody covered my shifts for like 2-3 hours. Somebody else came and did the rest until they covered the whole day for me. And then I actually ended up having to miss work for a whole week because I was in the hospital for 5 days. 4 days I was on the drip of the insulin. I had an IV in my arm of insulin dripping into me constantly, trying to get my sugar down. It was so bad that I ate half a banana and my sugars went back up. And they came in saying, what did you eat? And I said, half a banana, because I'm thinking fruit is safe. But I learned quickly, you still have to, fruit is sugar, and it breaks down in your body as sugar, and that it you have to portion it as well. You have to portion fruit as well. You can't just sit there and eat fruit all day as a diabetic thinking that's healthy to eat fruit all day. Fruit is sugar. So let's see where I'm picking up. So in the ER, I had to learn quickly what is a diabetic. I was told that they weren't sure if I was type 2 or type 1 because my sugar was taking so long to get under control. They end up coming back towards the end and confirming I was type 2 diabetic, which they were saying my pancreas was creating insulin. It just was, I was insulin resistant. So it's like it wasn't enough insulin being produced. So it sent my blood sugars up. Blood sugar should always be between 80 to 140. And like I told you, I was at 655. The doctor said, thank goodness you threw up and thank goodness you listened to your husband, because we don't know what would have happened to you. We don't know if you would have died, went into a coma. Like, we don't know. So thank goodness I did throw up, because somehow when I threw up, that let me know something was seriously wrong. Anyways, while I'm in the hospital, they're coming in all day long, pricking me, testing my sugar, seeing if it's going down, changing out the IV, bringing me this nasty hospital food, bringing me Sprite Zero, stuff like that has zero sugar in it. I wasn't even used to that kind of food. Being on a diet, telling me how to count calories, how to count grams of sugar and carbohydrates, and a dietitian came in explaining to me, this is how you got to eat now, and have me go through exercises and say, okay, if you eat 2 slices of bread and some eggs, how much sugar is that? So you have to count that the 2 breads was both carbs, and then she was, but she put me on a diet plan, I can only have so many carbs per day. I can only have so many grams of sugar per meal, so many carbs per meal. So it was a lot to take in. It was definitely a life changer. And my family came up to see me because they were all concerned. And they were all saying, well, we noticed you had gained weight, and we noticed, you seemed exhausted, you seemed tired, but we thought you were just working too hard. So it was a bit challenging. My husband and I have 3 kids, so someone had to watch the kids because he didn't want to leave me in the hospital by myself. So it was a lot going on with that, right? Left the hospital, had appointments out of nowhere, all these appointments to see the doctor so that they can stay on track, so they can keep an eye on me. Fast forward to about 4 months after I was diagnosed with diabetes and had that horrible situation happen where the doctor reveals in the ER that I'm diabetic, and that's why I've been feeling horrible. Okay, so fast forward to 4 months, 4 months from there, my doctor is saying that, hey, you can go ahead and start, 2 months from there, after 2 months of being out of the hospital, she said, well, you can come off of your insulin shots. I was injecting myself with the insulin pen. She said, you can come off the insulin pen because I'm seeing that you don't need it anymore. Okay, your numbers are fine, and as far as that goes. Then she left me on the metformin, which is the pill form. After 2 months after that, she said I can come off the pill. She said you are what we call diet controlled diabetic. Okay, so all I had to do was make sure I continued to eat right, eat exactly, follow the meal plan she gave me, and I was fine. Well, that I was doing that for almost 2 years. That was 2015. February of 2015 is when I was diagnosed. It was June of 15 when I was taking off all my medicine. And here it is. It is August of 2017. Excuse me. It's August of 2017 and I just had a relapse. My sugar was almost 400. And I felt all those same symptoms. This same eye was feeling strained, like it could pop or something. I had to start wearing some old glasses I had that has a prescription in it to see, because my eyesight got back blurry. Now I have went almost 2 years, no medicine at all, diet control, follow my diet, and no medicine, not having to prick my finger every day, multiple times a day. I had that freedom almost 2 years, and I just relapsed, and diabetes taught me it is real. It doesn't go away. Okay? If you don't follow that diet, you don't eat what you're supposed to eat, you're going to be back on medicine, back pricking your fingers, and that's what I'm doing now. Now my sugars, I'm waking up, my sugars is almost 300 in the morning. And it's almost 300 in the mornings. So I'm back on the metformin. I'm not on the insulin pen, thank God, but I do have to check my sugar several times a day again and turn it in.